So I was thinking about the Tomi Lahren scenario. Once again, as many people are making videos about her, and I decided to do a little bit more in-depth notes on the scenario, or at least on her and her type of the type of woman that she is, and the type of women that are like her out there. And I've ran into a lot of these type of women in my life. I've ran into your narcissists, your selfish women, solipsistic women. Most women are solipsistic. Most women are selfish in one way or another. If they do something for a man, it's to get something back for themselves. Women are very rarely selfless. Men are the ones who are expected and supposed to be selfless because we have to sacrifice for a family. We sacrifice 8 hours of our day working, breaking our back, just to be accepted as a man, just to do our duty, which is what's actually required of us. Of course, nowadays, women want above and beyond that. Not only do we have to, work 8 hours a day, but we got to be Prince Charming and, make her feel lovely, at all times, make her feel sexy, make her feel like she's princess. It's nonsense, right? We know about all that. But let's get into the nuts and bolts of a woman like Tomi Lahren. Now, of course, Tomi Lahren is probably, one of the worst examples of these things, of this type of, behavior that modern women have. And yes, it is very much linked and related to feminism, because feminism takes away accountability. Feminism makes excuses for female behavior, blames men, blame shifts, everything onto men. Everything that's wrong with women is men's fault, right? Totally removes accountability and checks and balances for a myriad of different things, the least of which is, a woman's sexuality, right? Which, of course, I'm sure Tomi Lahren is very promiscuous. She's supposed to be a traditional conservative, but, when a woman talks like that, it's because she has experience in the dating game. And what is the dating game if not hooking up and having sex, right? It's not like, it's not called the courting game, right? Oh, come pick me up and take me to dinner and court me for 6 months and then marry me. No, that's not what dating is in 2020. It's, let's go, let's hang out and fuck. Basically, that's what dating is. Let's get on Tinder, let's hook up, have sex, and if I like you enough, maybe I'll continue to have sex with you for anywhere from a couple more days, a couple more weeks to 6 months, and then at that point we'll have a bad breakup, and then somewhere in between is what they call dating, right? Communicating with the girl and whatever. It ain't nothing normal about that, and she's somewhat mad about that. But it's funny because everything that she lists, the list of demands, right, her narcissistic demands, is what she doesn't get and what she doesn't really want. Because if she got it, yeah, she'd feel special, but she wouldn't settle down with that guy. So this is what it really is a message to the simps. Like, hey, if you do all this, maybe you can get me, right? But that's not how women really react. That's not how women like that, how hot women really roll. They chase the guy who doesn't give a crap about them. They chase the guy who, doesn't do anything for them, doesn't open doors, doesn't take them to dinner, just fucks them and leaves them. That's the guy they want because he's the real high value guy. And this is, exemplified. This is, how they really are, right? So all that crap that she's talking about, do this, do that, all that really is her pandering to the simps, right? That's how she says she wants to be treated, but don't pay attention to what a woman says. Pay attention to what a woman does. She doesn't chase those guys that treat her like that. Now, a couple more years, when she's finally ready to have a baby, when she's finally done with the cock carousel, when she's finally done getting fucked and sucking every which way, then she's going to want that guy because, her value's gone and she had her fun. Now she wants a baby and she wants to live happily ever after. But right now, she's saying that's what she wants. And this is what these women do. They go on the dating sites and they say they want this and that. But what they're really doing is they're getting ready for the wall. They know the wall's coming. They're getting ready for when they hop off the cock carousel and they can no longer, you know, suck the juice and squeeze the juice out of the cock carousel anymore, because their looks are starting to fade and the top quality guys are starting to pass them up. And maybe that's already sort of starting to happen with Tomi Lahren, and she's mad about it, or she got burned, or some combination therein, right? She sees the wall coming. She sees, you know, I'm almost 30, right? You know, my friends have babies and they're getting married, and I'm just out here fucking sucking Chad, and maybe it's going to be time for me to settle down. You know, 27 is actually a little early. Women usually hit that around 30, 32. It takes them about 3 to 5 years to realize that they should have hit it you know, they should have acted like that when they were 20. And then they realize, oh shit, I have no value. And by then it's too late. It's really too late for a lot of women. And they got to settle down with some sucker, with some simp guy who's just a beta provider. And he has nothing else to offer her because she can't get any quality guys. So she has to go with this weak man, right? And a lot of them just end up unhappy. And so this is what I've seen. So anyway, so the points that I wrote down, the points that I made, I kind of just broke down what she was talking about, and then I wrote notes on her 3 major points. You know, from what I gathered from her video, she made 3 major points. The first of which is that guys don't make plans. The second of which is, you know, she's talking about careers, and she wants guys to seek women with a career, basically her, right? So it sucks for her that she has to, you know, compete with the Tatianas, as she calls them, with the club sluts, because they're easy, and guys don't give a shit about your career. Sorry, they just, you know, men of value maybe do, but you're not looking for that type of value. You're not looking for an intelligent, thoughtful, kind man. You want Chad, and this is what she's trying to do in her stupid way, is to convince Chad to act like a simp. She wants to convince Chad. To, you know, behave like he's sucking up to her, and that is not going to happen. And she doesn't realize that. And so she's trying to put out a public service announcement so she can cry and whine about how Chad doesn't plan anything to take her on dates. And then she talks about, you know, the other 3rd major thing she talks about is value. And she says that value is what it's all about, right? You need value, right? And when she talks about value, she's talking about value, you know, a career woman. Basically, she's saying value me, right? Value, you know, again, she's basically crying that the Chad and simps, or excuse me, the Chads won't act like simps, because, you know, Chad only gives a fuck about pussy. He doesn't care. And the guys who she thinks are simps or bitch boys or whatever, right? You know, they're just the losers who play video games all day or whatever. They don't care about value, right? Well, there are guys who care about value. There are guys who care about intelligent women, but they also care about kindness, and they care about character. But you're not a kind woman, and you don't have much character, because obviously you're selfish and narcissistic, right? We can tell by listening to your fucking bullshit rant. Anyway, so let me break these points down, and then I'm going to add some additional points myself on what she's talking about. Okay, so the first one is, she says when guys don't make plans, what she's really saying is that guys only want sex from her. That's what she's really saying. They only text her for sex because she doesn't have any character or depth. Again, this is what Chads do. So she's chasing the type of guy who's not making plans, because he doesn't have to make plans. He doesn't have to suck up to pussy. He doesn't have to suck up to a woman to get pussy. And in fact, this is what I used to do. I would never take a woman to dinner, never make plans, because when you do that, you show her that you're trying to impress her. You show her that you're lower value than her, and you put her in the buyer frame, right? When someone's in the buyer frame, I always get these confused. There's buyer frame and there's seller frame, right? So no, you put her in the seller frame. The person who has the good is able to dictate the price, right? So when you're in the buyer frame, your mindset is, how much is this thing? Can I afford it? So what you're doing is you're putting yourself below her, right? Well, I got to take you to dinner. I got to make plans. What can I do to impress you, right? This is the buyer frame. So she's selling something. This is how women dictate the mating market. This is how they dictate the dating market and the sex market. Is they're in the seller frame. I've got the goods. You got to come up with my price. You gotta win me over, right? However, the irony of that is when men are not, you see, I mean, that price could be anything, right? It could be a trip around the world. I mean, you're competing with guys like Hugh Hefner. Obviously he's not alive anymore, but you're competing with guys that have that kind of money, right? So what are you going to do with your little $30,000 a year career? How are you going to impress someone like Tomi Lahren or some of these hot women when they got Arabian princes flying them out, right? These sheiks with their oil money. They got guys, they got celebrities they're having sex with. Like, there's no maximum cap to how high hypergamy can go. So when she's saying plan things, what she's saying is fall into my frame, fall into the buyer frame so that I can dictate how much I want to sell myself for. This is prostitution. That's what it subtly means. She's selling herself. Put yourself in the buyer frame so I can dictate the price. And that's how you're going to compete with somebody who's a millionaire. How are you going to compete with somebody who's a famous person, right? You can't compete with that. So your only option is to simp. Well, just let me take you out. This is what she's doing. She's creating a power vacuum for herself by making simps, by giving simps hope. Well, if you just plan something, we might be able to work. This is female nature. This is the subtle way women manipulate men. And this is why there's so many simps out there. This is why men are so cucked in general, just to impress women, because women have successfully psychologically fucked us by saying, I've got the pussy, you got to earn it. I know what you want, right? Well, if men would collectively just take the pussy off the pedestal and say, I don't give a fuck. There's there's 3 billion other women on this planet, lady. And you think I'm going to simp for you? No, I don't give a shit about you. I don't care about your pussy. There's 3 billion other women on the planet. I got options, lady. I can go mess with anybody. I just got to go talk to them. I just got to get out there. I'm not going to simp for you on this dating site, or simp for you on social media, or simp for you in real life. I don't need to do that. And I'm not going to take you on a date. This is what Chad has going for him. And this is why she wants Chad, because Chad doesn't kowtow to her. It's a shit test. Anybody who kowtows and tries to meet her standards is a simp, and she automatically wouldn't want to sleep with that guy because he's trying to impress her. That's not what women want. Women don't want to be impressed by men. Women want to chase men. They want to chase the high value man. They want to chase the guy that all the other women want. They want to chase the guy that is unattainable. That's what women really, really, really want when you get into female psychology. So again, that's just a bunch of bullshit. When she's saying guys make plans, no, that's how she's trying to, which is actually evil, because she's trying to empower, and it's feminism, right? You need to impress me because I'm the woman, and women rule. This is the psychology behind that, and this is why so many relationships are fucked up. This is why society's fucked. It's a big reason why society's fucked up. It's a big reason why there's so many problems between men and women, and the social dynamics there, because this is what they're doing. They're not coming at it from an even frame. They're not coming at it from you bring 50, I'll bring 50. And no, she's saying you make plans, which means you pay for dinner, which means you take me on vacation, which means you take me shopping, which means you simp for me. That's what it means. Subtly and psychologically. All right, so let me move on. The second one is when she uses her career to validate her argument. This is an example of feminism. She doesn't realize a woman with a career is not an attraction point for men. This is obvious. So she's trying to say, oh, well, I have a career, therefore I'm high value. And men don't care. Men don't care that you got a career. We don't care. We should. I would say quality men should, right? And in a sense, I might agree with her on this point. However, she's not really using it in an honest way. She's sort of like hyping herself up. She's sort of like validating herself through that. Most men just don't care. It's like, I'd prefer a woman who is ambitious. I prefer a woman who has something going for her. That's true, but not if it gets in the way of a quality relationship. If she's so ambitious that she can't really love me correctly, if she's so ambitious that she can't really treat me right, then your career is actually an impediment to our relationship. And that's what it sounds like it is with Tomi Lahren. Oh, I'm so ambitious, and I want to be a power couple, and I want to, rule the world, and all my friends are, I want to be the jealousy of all my friends me and this powerful guy, we're so successful together. Like, fuck all that shit. Guys don't want that. I don't want that. Like, I'm not here to impress your friends. I don't care about that. Like, I want food on the table. I want to have a nice place to live. I want to have a nice life. And yeah, you need money for that, but I don't give a shit